Terry, what are you doing here?
This is big news, Warren. Stylish Woman magazine hired me to photograph the trial. Look, I hope it doesn't make you too uncomfortable.
Well, I don't like it, but I understand the nature of the beast. Do you know B.J. Walker?
No, I don't. Hello, Terry Holloway.
Hello. You know my brother.
Yes, and look, B.J., I'm awfully sorry about all this. I'll try to be as unobtrusive as possible, okay? See you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think we found the witness that we've been looking for. Julia, are you saying what I think you're saying?
Yes.
But how?
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Mason Capwell presiding.
Be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, before we hear closing arguments, I have given the defense permission to call one final witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to state my objection for the record.
So noted, and your objection is overruled, Mr. Arnold. The defense may call its witness.
The defense calls Sally Baldwin.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Will you please state your name for the record?
Sally Baldwin.
Thank you. Sally, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Florida. I'm currently attending college in Arizona.
How long did you live in Florida?
For the first 17 years of my life.
Sally, while you were living in Florida, did you know a man named Frank Goodman?
Yes, I did.
How did you know him?
He was a group counselor at a summer camp I attended when I was 9 years old.
I'm going to show you evidence marked People's Exhibit 2A. And Sally, can you tell me if you can
And
identify...
that's him.
Let the record show that Sally Baldwin has identified the picture as Frank Goodman. Sally, when was the last time you saw Officer Goodman?
4 years ago.
And had you seen him regularly since you were 9 years old up until 4 years ago?
Yes.
What was the nature of your relationship with him?
Well, I wouldn't call it a relationship.
What would you call it?
I was his victim.
Sally, would you please explain that to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Frank Goodman sexually molested me.
When did this first occur?
When I was 9 years old at summer camp.
And what was the nature of this abuse?
Frank was teaching me swimming, and he would hold me underwater and touch me in places that I knew that he shouldn't.
Did you resist?
I tried to, but I was too little, and he was too strong. He said that it was just a game, that we weren't doing anything wrong.
Sally, did you tell any of the other counselors or anyone about this?
No, I couldn't. I was too afraid, and well, at the time I felt that somehow that it was my fault.
Why did you think it was your fault?
When I first met Frank, I liked him. And he said that he wanted me for a special friend, and that meant that I should always trust him. I didn't realize what he meant, so when he started molesting me, I felt that I had given him permission.
How long did this go on?
For 2 weeks, all of camp. I begged my parents not to make me go back the next year, but of course they didn't understand. I mean, they just thought that I was clinging too much to home. They said that it would do me good.
Sally, when you went back to camp the next summer, was Frank there?
Yes,
And did he sexually molest you again?
yes. Only this time he found other ways for us to be alone. The camp would go on hikes, and he would tell the other counselors that I wasn't feeling well, and that he was taking me back to the main quarters.
Why didn't you tell the other counselors that you felt fine?
Oh, I did, but Frank would just tell them that I was too shy to admit the truth and that I didn't want to cause any trouble.
What did you do then?
Well, on the way back to camp, Frank would take me off the main path, behind the bushes, and he'd force me to do things to him.
And you still didn't tell anyone?
I was too afraid to. And this had been going on for 2 summers now. I didn't think anybody would understand or that they'd think that I wanted it to happen.
Sally, were there any other incidents?
Frank used to sneak into my cabin at night. He said that if I made a sound, that all the other girls would blame me, and that I would never have any friends again. I didn't want that to happen, so I'd agree to sneak outside with them.
I know this is very difficult for you, and we're almost through. After you left camp, did you ever see Frank again?
Several times. He used to wait for me after school to give me a ride home. Only he'd never take me home first.
Where did he take you?
Various places. His apartment, a park, even a motel.
The last time you saw Frank was when you were 15. Can you please describe the circumstances surrounding that?
Well, one day, Frank showed up at my home. I'll never forget walking into my house and seeing him sitting there. He really had my parents snowed. They seemed so happy that he was there.
What did you do?
I went into my room and didn't come out for 3 days.
Thank you, Sally. No more questions.
Do you wish to cross-examine, Mr. Arnold?
Yes, I do.
McCabe. McCabe. Thank you. That was a great thing you did, bringing Sally in. I think it's going to make all the difference in BJ's case. And I know that it couldn't have been... I know that it couldn't have been easy for you. I mean that it probably has cost you.
Why don't you cut the crap? Since when did you give a flying leap about my feelings, and you really expect me to believe that you care what cost I have to pay?